All right. Are we live here? Officially live?
I
All
believe
right.
so.
Officially live. Producer's show on a Wednesday of a show week, which is good because now we have material to actually work with, Justin, finally. Obviously, yesterday, the big story of the day, besides Mutt and his family food habits, Gino was the big story yesterday. I just got to ask you at the gate then. Any reaction from the Gino stuff from the man himself? You texted him live during the show. Did you get a response?
I did not get a response. People are going to think I'm lying about this. I'm not.
Wow.
I did not get a response.
Okay.
I'm sure he's busy. I don't know what to say.
Are you feeling weirder about how you handled yesterday? Like, has there been any, personal recognition of just like your overall delivery when discussing Gino yesterday? Or are you just saying 100%, like, I handle myself well? Like, do you get where we're coming from where you sounded like Gus?
I do understand that, but I also I'm not lying about it. Like I swear, like I did not remember his restaurant. People reminded me. Now I know what his restaurant's name is now. The other one that he owns, the Hare and the Hound. So people can sure go with that. I did not know what it was.
Yeah.
But no, I legitimately I went to. People didn't think I went to the Phillies game with him last year. I did. There's been some proof of that came out. I guess.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the rumor is now that we were fucking. So I don't know. I don't know how to deny those rumors other than saying we weren't. But
yeah, he's just got to come forward. Now, it does appear, not that I was attempting to stalk him digitally yesterday either, but it does appear that I don't know if he's still married, but he definitely has kids. Like you said yesterday, there was some people were sending me DMs about kind of his whatever. We don't need to go into the whole entire fucking thing,
Yep.
but basically, somebody, specifically Boner Salad, at least confirmed your report that he does in fact own Grill on the Hill. That is not a lie, because I know there were people like Pat Ford putting out their SEC filings. That's how far we went yesterday. We got SEC filings.
SEC filings that actually prove my point. that was like, if you read it, it says like dissolved in 2021. It's like, oh Jesus, can we just leave the poor guy alone?
Right, but it did. I understood where he was coming from because it said a different name, and you gotta. The investigator in me wants to find out the connection between Gino and that individual now. But either way, we're fine. I am shocked that he didn't text you back. It almost seems like, he's got a. I don't know. He wasn't a listener. Was he a listener to the program last year?
No.
Okay.
It's more of just like I'm sure he's busy and we weren't like super close or anything like that. I haven't really talked to him in a while, so it's one of those things where like I've texted him before and he'll get back to me like a week later.
Right. Right.
So
okay, all right. Well,
but no, would I handle myself differently? I don't think I handled myself poorly yesterday.
Let's say he saw the text. Nobody doesn't see text anymore. They might see it, forget about it, and not text back, or they'll see it and just be like, "Fuck it, I'm not going to respond to him." But he saw it. He probably went to the internet and at least saw that people were talking about him, right? And like, I would assume that's what I would do personally. I would go, he knows you worked for a podcast or work for a podcast, right?
Yep.
So, he must know eventually that he is a topic of discussion. And I would assume at some point he will come forward and address the overall situation, because I'm going to be honest.
Guess I don't think he's going. I don't think he just has any interest in addressing the situation, because, like I said, there is no situation. I don't think he I don't know if
he made it seem like there was a situation yesterday, Justin. So
how did I make it seem like there was? I don't know.
Acting like
keep going around in circles, but
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, no update from the Gino situation, so that's fine. So I don't know. Is the chat saying anything about the Gino? The Gino thing took over. Oh, somebody's asking, what is Gino Gate in the chat? Well, you got to go listen to the show. If you haven't listened to the show, you're not going to understand it. So go listen to the show. All right. We'll get into our second, actually, maybe our number one favorite topic, at least of the last few weeks, which is last night's episode of American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez, just top to bottom. Maybe the greatest show I have ever watched. It is beyond entertaining. The acting is unbelievable. The Belichick development in this episode, I've actually the draft situation I thought that was so horrible in terms of Belichick. I didn't agree with people who said oh, he has the mannerisms down and stuff. I just thought it was overacting. It was crazy. But yesterday, I actually thought the Belichick casting was pretty good. He was pretty good in that episode, don't you think?
He was fine. I mean, so I watched it this
We'll
morning.
make fun of the Bon Jovi segment, obviously, but I just mean as the episode developed, it wasn't as outlandish. Like the Bon Jovi thing was by far the most outlandish thing in the episode.
I thought just the whole situation with like Gronk was funny. The scene right
Yep.
before that, where he's like, "Hey man, I'm Rob. Have we met before? People call me Gronk. I'm kind of crazy." It's a very very like over. Everyone is like a caricature.
How do you play Gronk in a, like he didn't? I thought he was fine too. Like playing Gronk is not the easiest thing in the world. He's like the goofiest, or that's the demeanor he portrays out there. So even though it felt corny, like Gronk is super corny. So I thought he played Gronk pretty well.
Yeah, this was also like the first episode where like it wasn't like over the top with the gay stuff either. Like I there was one point in the episode where I was like, oh, they actually kind of brushed over it. There's a part where he like goes to a club with other Patriots players, which I was trying to figure out who those Patriots players were supposed to be, and I had no idea.
Right.
I was like, is that Kevin Falk? But I don't know. And some guy comes up to him, and Aaron Hernandez is like, well, and then he comes up, he's like, yo, dude, this guy just came up to me and was like, he wants me to bang his girlfriend. They were like, whoa, dude, what are you doing here? And he's like, he said he wants to watch too. And then they were like, he's like, I'm not into that. And they're like, yo, what, would you rather him bang you in the ass and she watches? And he's like, no. That was really the only like gay hint there until later on. I don't know who that was he was talking to. Was that his high school quarterback?
Which portion?
The part where he's like sitting down and he's like, oh, I moved to California, and he's like, you got a girl now? He's like flirting with that guy and like does like a close up on the lips and stuff.
Wait, no, that was the guy, the therapist, the physical therapist, right?
That was
at the end?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the guy who works for the agent or whatever.
Oh,
and he met him
okay.
Yeah, that's yes. Yeah, they have a thing going. And he's going to be a big part of the next episode, it appears. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and we also get to see like Aaron's violent side comes out at the end here.
Yes,
someone fucks with his moms, and he does not take that very well.
So he meets like a new drug dealer who at like they're going. What are they playing, poker or something like that? And that guy starts shit with Aaron because Aaron's bitching about his mother's boyfriend who must have attacked his mother or something. But either way, they just start some shit, and then Aaron becomes best friends with this guy who's a drug dealer / killer, and now Aaron's in his whole realm, and so Aaron all of a sudden like is going to start. I would assume now we're getting to that point where like this guy and Aaron are hanging out so much. This guy's passing on all the bad shit to Aaron, right? Aaron now has a gun on him everywhere he goes. And the next episode, we're going to get some pure violence, I would assume.
Yes. So I think, but when I saw that Bill Belichick scene, the first thing I did was like, I have to text Dave. This was made in
it's so predictable. So predictable. I know they're friends. I can't see Bill Belichick blasting Bon Jovi's "It's My Life" in his locker room like that. I just don't. I don't see it. I think people hear Kirk talk about it. You and I talk about it on the producer show. If you haven't like you got to get it through your head now. Watch those clips on Twitter. If you haven't started this show, it's like that for a substantial portion of this program. Like if you thought that clip of Belichick was funny, you have to watch this series because it's like the entire series.
That's why like my heart breaks a little bit for like Mike and like these people who are like, yeah, no, I'm just going to watch the episode with Kirk. And it's like, no, you got to see this through.
My heart breaks for them.
This is like, because he would love this. Like these are the kind of shows where it's like, this is the most, it's unintentionally the funniest. It's the funniest show that's been on in years.
It's crazy. So yeah, what was that? Episode 5?
That was episode 5.
Yep. That was episode 5.
Halfway there.
Also, did you remember? Like, did Aaron Hernandez really go to get the pads butt naked? Like, is that just like part of the?
I said that and I was like, there's no way this happened. There's no way there was just a giant naked man walking around getting the pads. Like, I understand like it's a locker room mentality but it's like also like. No, I don't think that would happen in 2010. Right, maybe in 1975, but not in 2010.
Yep. Mikey Grabbag says the kid playing Hernandez is not that terrible. The rest of the cast is Brazzers caliber. It's kind of a good description. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how you play Gronk, so I didn't think that guy was that bad. But besides that, yes.
Let's see. What was that party that we're last thing? What was that like? Was that just a craft party they went to?
Oh, at the house? Yeah. Bob Kraft's. Yeah, it looked like he just threw a party at the house. And also, who's the woman who threw the block party? By the way, He doesn't have a sister, right? Does he have a sister?
No.
Maybe she's just like around the block, but is almost like his de facto mother at some because he plays in one of the final scenes. He's done with the game, right? And he walks into the room, and she's the first person you see. We've never been introduced to this human being or who she is. We just know she's from the neighborhood, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
But all right. Anything else? Any of the comments say anything about this show?
Apparently, it's a surrogate mom.
Hare and the Hound is a great restaurant. Yeah, that's good. That's good publicity. Cool. All right, whatever. Nothing else on the Aaron Hernandez show. All right, let's get into a tweet last night that was I'm blocked by Eitan Shander.
Really?
I don't know how I saw it. Elon's Twitter is strange. All of a sudden it popped up for me. But this tweet that he had, you're more than welcome to follow Barstool betting scams. We honestly don't care if you watch the show or not. It's over in 5 weeks. First of all, who is we? That's one. Like, we honestly don't care. Call me crazy. I think Mutt cares if you watch the show or not. I think the Bomber probably cares. Mohegan Sun probably care. I'm pretty sure it's just Eitan Shander who doesn't give a fuck because he doesn't care about the show. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
I think this is a thing where I think he probably had a few brews during the Phillies Mets game, and a couple people reached out to him. And LMAO, stop tweeting at me. I have zero clue who you are. You absolutely know who I am. Can't stop tweeting at me. Weird, but that's who you are. What was the other tweet he had? He had another tweet that was like a reply to like something that was like 3 days old.
Oh, was that the one that I think Jeff retweeted something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think he probably had a few brews, was upset that the Phillies lost because he's like a diehard Philly sports fan.
Yep.
Like from what I can tell, like he still thinks like his
like
biggest
you.
dig,
like you,
like me, yes, like we bleed, we're fanatics through and through. But like his dig at Kirk would be like, remember Super Bowl 52? Huh? Yes. Still upset about that? Like I think deep down he thinks like part of it stems from that. Well, in reality, like no one gives a fuck about that.
Right.
But it's just a bad look. Overall, I think it's a terrible look for Mutt. He had a tweet this morning.
He hasn't really acknowledged it fully, has he? He's just tweeting about like his food shit, isn't he?
No, I saw. Where was this one tweet he had? Yeah. People were going after him for the hamburger and the alphabet soup too, which I don't. I think that's a perfectly normal thing to do, but also I'm a weird food guy.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't see that he addressed it.
So David Maryland.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He replied.
Yes, David Maryland said, "Is this true?" At Mike Manansky, he said, "David, I love Mohegan. I love talking sports bag. I can't wait to brag about my 3-0 weekend. Of course, I care if you come by or watch online. You know this." And then he links to Shander's channel to watch the show tomorrow night. I mean, it's just kind of like what Kirk says. He's kind of like just pussyfooting around it. He won't address it. They're going to do the show tomorrow night, and they're going to just pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah, the only argument I would have back to that is like that's not the type of show. I don't think Mutt wants to do that type of show in that setting where they're like going to be fighting nonstop about the inner workings of the show. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not the
I get that, but also it's like who.
I think it's an off-air thing. I think it's an off-air thing.
Yeah, but it's not an off-air thing because they don't talk about it off-air. It's like if you're going to continue.
No, I don't mean like. I guess I mean like from a situational standpoint, from Mutt's perspective, it's an off-air thing in the sense that he needs to just text this guy and say, "Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit." Like that's it. Like you don't care about the show, then I don't give a fuck about you. Get off the show. I'll do the Mohegan Sun Sportsbook Live by myself, right? If he doesn't want to, quit and attempt to get his job offer back from Barstool Sports, I just mean this guy's a fucking asshole. See you later. You know what I mean? Mutt's the only one trying on the show anyway, so. Go fuck yourself. Goodbye. That's what I mean by off air. Cause that will never come up on the air. It just won't.
Yeah. Which is sad because I think it would make for decent content. And like it would definitely get more viewers, I guess, or maybe it wouldn't, but I also just think it's funny for channels to be like the Barstool betting scams. Like, please, like, where is there I know there are a couple of Barstool betting shows. There's one Clemson, Pick Central. There's like Pick'em. There's the Pro Football Show.
Well, I lost a lot of money because Big Cat told me that like all these bets, I legitimately couldn't lose them. So I lost a lot of money on that.
Yeah, no, but where do you pay for these things? If you want most of Shander's bets, you have to pay him. You are starting out at a disadvantage.
Yep.
Dave Portnoy, for what I know, you've never had to pay him for picks. You've never had to pay Big Cat for picks. You never had to pay you never have to pay Chris Clemmer for picks or anything like that.
Right.
But
right.
it's I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like you're pointing out your own, not flaws, but what when like someone's like, oh, you have ugly eyebrows. Meanwhile, like my eyebrows are all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
Right. And also like Mutt, I could see Mutt just kind of blowing past this and doing his job and doing the show. But like, how does that look from a Mohegan Sun standpoint or the Bomber, your guy right there? Like, if you see a tweet like that, from their perspective, they should be like, fuck you, go fuck yourself. No?
Yeah, I think so too. And also be like, who gives a shit? It's over in 5 weeks. That's a good attitude to have. But
Yeah.
what do I know? He's made it big. So.
Also, like, I'm pretty sure Mutt said numerous times he wanted it to continue after 10 weeks, but obviously that probably is a guaranteed not to be happening anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like that's not happening. So,
all right. In terms of the minute, it was kind of quiet. Everything was Gino centric yesterday. We did see a tweet. I think it was this morning or last night? It was actually this morning from Steve from Gloucester. We like to update things like this on this.
He deleted the tweet that we read on the show yesterday.
Yes. And it came up like, I think Kirk said, of course, Steve from Gloucester, if we called him, would come back in studio. He responded this morning, of course I'd go on if asked, but it's just going to be rehashing the past and continuing the false narrative. Probably not even worth accepting if offered at Kirkman show. I agree with everyone who said he would still come in, even if it's rehashing, he would come in and talk about it.
If Kirk said come in and then sit in the corner and just stare at the corner the entire time and there was a camera on him, he would do that. I mean, he's one of the people that like he just really wants to be back in the limelight. He's quit the show to try to get a reaction. He's come back to try to get a reaction. He's done all these other crazy things. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like he liked being on the show. He liked coming in every couple of weeks, and now that he doesn't get that, he feels like he can just make these crazy statements where he's going to quit and Kirk's faking it. Everyone's copying him, and it's not the same. But
right,
it's like, dude, like if you're gonna quit, if you say you need to quit for like your health reasons, and you like I know there was a couple tweets he deleted like every single tweet like in the history of ever that he's ever done. If you need to like quit the show because like your sobriety is in jeopardy, like dude, like do what's best for you. But
of course,
it doesn't fucking matter what we say here or what Kirk says. I mean, he's going to want to try to come back into the show for the rest of eternity. As long as the shows continue to go, he's gonna,
Right. All right. Well, that was it for the Minifan stuff that I saw. Did you listen at all to the Howard Stern, Kamala Harris interview yesterday?
I listened to a couple bits and pieces. I didn't listen to the full thing. I've listened to a couple bits and pieces. I thought it was pretty hard hitting.
It was.
I like when he's saying he's like, listen, obviously, I think you're a great candidate, but also I would vote for that wall over there over Donald Trump. I think it was like, wow, this is a very objective interviewer, and I get like he's not objective, but he didn't even like try to be.
Right, that's what I mean.
Most of the questions were how bad.
There was not like one policy question, and if there was, it was never like it wasn't like a straight question. He always led her into the answer that she was going to give. It was just full-fledged activism on his part, like top to bottom. And so I don't know. I expected it to be like a kiss ass type of interview. I didn't expect it to be over the top like that for some reason. I don't even know why. Like you should expect that from Stern at this point. But it was crazy. Like he would answer his questions for her before she could answer it. And then she would repeat what he had to say. It was kind of a remarkable listen.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, at least like, when she goes on CNN or 60 Minutes, and I don't mean to get too political here, but we know the way like a lot of these news networks are pro. They like Kamala Harris. They prefer her over Donald Trump. At least they pretend to be like objective.
Right.
He was pretty much just like, no, I fucking hate the other guy. And it's not even that he was like so much a fan of hers. He just hates Trump so much that he just needs her to win.
Right.
And I don't think anyone is swayed by this. Like Kirk said, like Stern is for like old women now.
Yeah,
I think it's like edgy. I don't know a single person my age who listens to Stern.
No,
like,
I definitely
when I say my age, I mean like plus minus 10 years.
Yeah, I also think the numbers are like significantly inflated. I feel like I forget the number that they said yesterday. I know they said Call Her Daddy was 5 million downloads a week or something like that. I don't know if it was 1 million unique listeners a week is what they tried to claim Howard Stern has now. There's no fucking way. Like there's just no way. But the only argument back to that I would say is like I don't think that people who listen to Howard Stern are technically all liberal just because he is now. Do you know what I mean?
I would agree with that, but I would say that like I don't think anyone's getting influenced by Howard Stern.
Right.
Like I think that if in 1996 he had on whatever Senate candidate and they busted balls and had a good time, I think people were like, oh, this is more relatable. He came on Stern, he showed he was a real person.
Yeah.
But then
Call Her Daddy was 10 times more of an influential interview, even though that may not have been influential, but it was 10 times more than what Howard Stern's was. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Besides that, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that happened that we missed or not? We were talking before. I don't think so. It's kind of everything's Gino right now. The investigation's pretty much done because it's all in the public sphere, who Gino is, what he owns, and things like that. So,
poor guy.
Which I think is what stemmed the entire Gino conversation yesterday, is you trying to protect all these things, and unfortunately, they're all out there now. They're all out there now. So, we were talking about the YouTube before we went on, the whole updating of the YouTube thing that's going on.
Yeah, so the past couple of like weeks, I've been going through with all the shows, and I've been updating to all the live shows to like have to match it, because before it would just be like KMS Live, October 2nd, 2022, or something like that. So I went through, updated the titles, updated all the descriptions, and in every single title I put like featuring whoever the guest was. So it would be like featuring Beanbag Ron and Cinema Lords. So then I also made all these different playlists. So if you go on the YouTube on the homepage, you can go like there's different playlists for like not each guest, but like the main guests, like Blind Mike, Gus, Mick, Whitney. So like you can go on and you can like shuffle through Whitney episodes. I don't know. It's just something to do. And we're going through and updating the title cards and things like that. So just trying to organize things a little bit. If we could do it, unfortunately on Rumble, they don't have playlists and stuff like that, so we can't. But the YouTube's all cleaned up, and I'm trying to go through the network stuff now and try to clean that up and clean up
all the newer stuff is definitely super organized, like we were talking about, like, and all the thumbnails and all that stuff. So but either way, it's you're doing good stuff there. So somebody in the chat just said, can we get a quick bio on Charles? Not really, except for in his emails to me. He's said things like, does this sound good, Honey Bunch, which I didn't love particularly. He has requested that Justin carry him up the stairs. Didn't love that much. What else?
This guy's going to be on.
This is Charles for you. So Charles is a new one. Steve, Your Life to Tape is on tomorrow. He has been on before. I think he's only done one spot. I don't remember it per se, but he's been on before, and he's good. He's in the world. You've seen him on Twitter and stuff like that, so he's good. So Shtickfest, says Kevin from Bristol. Maybe.
So I'll address this too. Freddie Lynn says Spotify and Apple don't show shows prior to 7/31/19. Do we know why yet? Yeah, we've hit the limit, and I've been in contact with Barstool, and they're in the process of like
don't say that other thing though. You're not gonna say that other thing, are you?
No,
because I don't know if we should say that.
No.
Okay.
But they're in the process of like, we have been in contact with them and they know about it, but there's nothing we can do at the moment. But
that's a years long battle.
Yes,
years
long. It will be fixed within. I know it sucks, but they haven't technically gone anywhere. They will be back in the upcoming time soon.
Yes, they always end up. I know people say that, like, they always end up knowing about it, and what happens on the platforms is they have a certain capacity, and we reach it every single time. And they add more capacity, and it just comes up every 6 months. It feels like every 6 months they like add to the capacity. We reach it, and they add it again, and then now it's just gotten to a point where they can't add anymore. Right? I think.
Yeah. So we're trying to, like, they know about it. They're working on it. There's a solution coming. It's not. It's out of me and Dave's hands.
Right. So, all right, cool. Anything else you want to get to before we sign off here?
My quarterback's going to get killed on Sunday. That sucks.
Oh, Drake May. That's right. Yeah, that's you are not a fan of this move by Drake May.
I was. Yeah. That came out yesterday. Tough.
What would you like in your perfect situation, to get your sports analysis here? What would you like to see them do with Drake May? Do you want him sat the entire season?
The entire year.
Okay.
Sit the entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jacoby got hurt or something, bring him in. But
yeah.
But no, just sit the entire year. But he's going to get absolutely. Like I said, he's going to get his ass ate on Sunday.
Yep.
By this Texans defense. So
his ass.
We'll do this, and then it does not look great. This Milton does not look great, huh?
This Milton? What? Oh, Hurricane Milton.
Milton. Obviously, not talking about Milton's story.
By the way, there was like a clip going around. We didn't talk about it yesterday. There was a clip going around of this like meteorologist doing his report, but like crying as he was doing it, and people were like, "Oh, look at how emotional he is talking about this hurricane." I watched the clip, and he was crying over the fact that climate change is the reason that is causing like whatever's happening in the water. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's still contributing to this hurricane that's going to be devastating. But they were trying to make it seem like he was crying specifically because this hurricane was going to hit in Florida. But his like major point was the fact that climate change is such a major problem. Whatever, either way. But that shit looks scary. Everything you watch is kind of like you always get the if it hits this way, like this is gonna. Either way, if you're in the Tampa area, I hope to God you got the fuck out of there.
It's terrible. People are gonna die. It's brutal.
The last thing I saw was yesterday. Obviously, that stuff develops and changes so quickly that I don't know if anything changed this morning, but Jesus, it's just crazy. And I did see, by the way, because I asked you before the show, were flights out of Tampa getting more expensive? And I saw stuff on that, which is it's pretty fucked up. I don't know what airline did it, but like everyone's trying to get out of there and you're raising prices. You go in there, it's $500 for a ticket to get to Boston or whatever. Then 2 hours later, it's $750. It's like, you're fucking disgusting if you're doing that, airlines. That's gross. So, all right, cool. I'm good on my end. You good on yours?
I believe so.
All right. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye.